There are hidden jewels all across the state of Arkansas. Let's take a trip to St. Joe to find out what this small town has to offer.
Okay, the St. Joe Depot was built in 1902. It was on the Missouri and North Arkansas Railroad line. It went out of service in 1946. Over the years, it was a feed store, it was classrooms for the local school, it was many different things. And in the late 90s, they decided to buy the building and restore it. So now it's restored to the actual colors, what it would have looked like while it was in service from 02 to 46. Right now the depot has artifacts from the actual Missouri North Arkansas line when it would run through. Local residents have donated items they've found and acquired over the years. Our main goal is just to preserve the history. Right now we're only open one day a week, Saturday mornings from 8 to noon. We're all volunteer staff, and our main challenge is trying to find people to open the depot so everybody gets a chance to see all the artifacts and learn the history of the railroad. You know, St. Joe's full of history, and this is one of the few buildings that remain as is from back in the early 1900s. You can step on the porch and walk through the door and you feel like you're back in 1902 and you're waiting on the train to come through. We're one of the last remaining depots on the Missouri North Arkansas Railway. And once they're gone, they're gone. And if you would like to learn the history and see what it was like, this is the place you have to come, because there's nowhere else in the area like our depot. We're always looking for volunteers. You know, keeping the depot running and open is not it's kind of an expensive order, and right now it's all volunteer, it's all donations. So any help we can get is greatly appreciated.
This is Big Springs Trading Company. We have a smokehouse and a restaurant. We mainly do barbecue, southern food. We try to do locally sourced things when we can. I've been here for almost 20 years, since Shelby was very small. She'll be 20 in November. We started kind of out of self-defense. This is a way that we could make a living and be able to live in the place where my family is from. So I was able to raise my children around their grandparents. We're located really close to the Buffalo National River, so we draw a lot of our customer base from tourism. A lot of people stop here on their way to Branson. We're located right on Highway 65. So we have been able to be here for a very long time and doing a thing that's, you know, pretty cool. So my family has been in this area for not 200 years, but close to it. Like both sides of my family came here in about 1835, and they came here as farmers. So the things that we do here are very traditional, as to what they would have done to, you know, get themselves through the winter. We have a traditional smokehouse, so that preserves things like bacon, hams, and we also use it for cheese, for some sausages and that sort of thing. And my grandparents had the exact same kind of smokehouse that I use now to do those things. And so that's why we preserve that tradition here, that we wanted to go ahead and keep that. Plus it's pretty cool to be able to serve bacon that we smoked ourselves. You know, we have a BLT of the house smoked bacon. This summer we'll do candied bacon on our menu. So we're pretty excited about that, but also it's pretty neat. Of course, the growing season here is not super long, but when things are in season, we buy from one of our local farmers market growers. Miss Sue Gray comes up and delivers produce to us at least once a week in season. So we have a seasonal side every day, and so in the summertime we keep that as something that is locally grown. We try to make our fruit pies and that sort of thing from local produce when we can. Our burgers, all of our burgers are from Massey Ranch. Daniel Massey sells me my hamburger meat. His family farms the land that my grandmother grew up on, actually. So that's a pretty cool old connection. I think that people really like to have a connection to a place, and the Buffalo River and Searcy County is a place that people enjoy, like finding some sort of connection to. And so this is a way for them to feel like they're more of a local. You know, they can come in and get something that was grown here. They can taste something that my grandparents would have eaten, that they lived here. So they really enjoy that. They like to watch the process. They love to come in and, you know, my daughters work for me, my niece works for me. You know, they enjoy being able to come in and have that family connection and feel like they're really part of something. Well, one of the biggest compliments, the best compliments that I get, the ones that mean the most to me, are when people come in and tell me that this reminds me so much of something from my childhood. This is like what my grandmother made. This reminds me of being a kid. This reminds me of the country. Like, this takes me back to a place in my past. And so those are the things that mean the most to me. You know, I'm not a modern, trendy cook. I'm a traditional food person. So that means a lot to me, to be able to connect people to their past, to be able to make them feel that feeling inside that they felt when they were younger.